Hello, welcome to this video. This is a time-lapse replay of me drawing a page for my comic The Journey to Charatoo, and in fact you're going to see several pages, not just this one, but several pages, and they all start with the finished page and they will transition into the time-lapse. This is, by the way, the third audio recording I am doing for this this one particular video, simply because I tend to run out of things to say, or I tend to freeze while I'm talking, and it just, or you know what happens is I'll just start talking about technical details, tips about how to use the programs, and I will start describing all the methods that I use, and I guess they're fine. I mean, if you also use the iPad Pro to create like I do, if you also use the same programs, I guess it's interesting to hear the workflow and ideas that other people have in creating their comics. But for the majority, for those who don't have an iPad Pro, who don't have Procreate, who don't use the same methods, I don't know if it's really that interesting. I mean, it's kind of like listening to a tutorial of a program you don't own, so what's the point? What I tried earlier was to talk about philosophical topics relating to art and creating art, but it's kind of hard keeping the momentum of the conversation going, because this is a rhetorical conversation, in the sense that I'm not actually talking to you. I'm not actually talking to anybody right now. You know, the situation is that I'm watching the video so that I know at what point I am and at how long do I have still left to talk. And I'm just holding the mic next to my mouth and chatting away. Hopefully this will create some interesting and thought-provoking and enlightening ideas about art and creation. There are a lot of topics, a lot of questions that I would really like to talk about. But I think it's kind of, this is still new to me. Let's just say, okay, no more rambling. This is new to me, and I just need to maybe focus, maybe pick a topic or two to discuss. One thing that I discussed with a friend of mine about this comic is what a blank slate the main character in this comic is. And well, there's going to be a bit of a twist regarding the main character. I'm not going to spoil. In fact, I don't even know that much into how the story is going to go. The idea that I have is I have this sort of red line that I will follow, this crude outline of how the story is going to go, how many characters are going to be involved in it. But I don't have a detailed script taking me all the way to the end, so that gives me a lot of flexibility to make things faster if necessary, or to just, you know, go on a whim and say, hey, I got this cool idea, they could make a detour here, so we can, because everything is not scheduled so tightly. I, by the way, absolutely, now that I'm watching the screen and see myself coloring the image, I absolutely love the coloring part of this program. How the color, you know, when you use the paint bucket tool in Paint, MS Paint, or use Color Dropper, or whatever they called in other programs, usually what happens is you get this, usually the space that you're coloring just instantly, like plop, it just becomes that color. Or it has like top to bottom or bottom to top, horizontal, or is it vertical transition? It just sort of fills. Well, with this, wherever you drop the paint, it just sort of spreads in a circle to in canvas all the area that you just um, want to paint. And I don't know why, but I think it's super cool. I just enjoy every time. I enjoy watching the paint spread and fill the space. It's very satisfying, very satisfying. Um, yeah, at the moment this is the latest page of the comic. Man, that C on the word Charatoo took many iterations. It went by in a flash, but if you rewind the video to when I'm creating the C, I think I spent like an hour on it. Well, maybe not an hour, like half an hour, but you know, half an hour intensely working on just one single letter. It was that difficult, and I had this idea like it needs to be kind of this, but it was so hard to get it just the way I wanted. Uh, yeah, by the way, interesting things to happen. Not next week. Hang on. Actually, no. What am I talking about? It's tomorrow. Tomorrow when I'll upload the latest episode of the Journey to Charatoo, which will be episode 7. We will take a look at a new place called the Steel Garden, and that will be very exciting. We'll see some new characters that are very different. When we were talking earlier about the main character being a blank slate, well, you'll find that these new characters are pretty much the opposite. They are very, very strongly defined in terms of what kind of characters they are. They've got very strong opinions, very strong ideas, and I do enjoy both writing and looking at strong characters. You know, not necessarily characters that are, you know, when I say strong, I don't mean characters that don't have weaknesses, but just they just fully live as who they are. And it's just so enjoyable to see, even if they're flawed, even if they're annoying, stupid, dumb, whatever. It's just, if they're really strongly just themselves, it will work. It just works. And yeah, that's why I chose to do a blank main character. It makes a lot of sense. But I'll explain it when it's time to do that. Okay, it's the end of the video, so thank you for watching. I'll see you next week. Bye.